What's up, everybody? I said I'd come on and do a quick recap video because I know nobody's going to want to sit through the 4.5 hour live stream that we just did on Transfer Deadline Day to summarise where we are with the Fabio Carvalho situation. So ultimately, the deal broke down because we ran out of time. There are no deal sheets apparently in the EFL, and Liverpool needed to have two parts of this deal sorted out in order for Fabio Carvalho to become a Liverpool player. It needed the agreement, the selling club from Fulham to Liverpool, and it then needed another deal to loan him back to Fulham for the remainder of the season. Ultimately, that became too much to get done today. Now, what I would say to people is, I know there's going to be a lot of frustration right now, and a lot of, whose fault is it, and a lot of trying to find a scapegoat. What I would say is, in the grand scheme of things, I don't believe too much has really changed here. And the reason I say this is, the vibe coming out of this situation is that Carvalho remains convinced that his future lies at Liverpool. That Liverpool, yes, they wanted to avoid a tribunal at all costs, but the briefing that's coming out from journalists seems to be that the clubs have goodwill going forward, and that if they can agree a compensation fee that would avoid this going to a tribunal, then that would be done and Fabio Carvalho would become a Liverpool player in the summer. If you look at it from that perspective and take it at face value, and look, I understand trust is difficult at times, particularly when you feel a bit deflated with what's just gone on now. But ultimately, if the deal gets done in the summer, compensation fee is agreed, nothing really has changed here. Carvalho was never going to be coming to Liverpool between now and the end of the season. He was always going to stay at Fulham and help the club with their promotion push. So if, and it's a big if at this particular moment in time, the agreement stays, then I think it'll all be fine. What I will say is, ultimately, I think we've looked at this transfer window. We have brought in Luis Diaz for a very reasonable fee, in my opinion, a fee rising up to 50 million quid with add-ons. We have usurped Spurs and weakened a rival who wanted to bring him in. We have added a player that we didn't want to bring in until next summer in Luis Diaz, but a player that we now have an opportunity to see bed into the Liverpool squad, help us challenge for trophies. We've still got the Champions League, we've still got the FA Cup and a Premier League campaign as well. So I look at this transfer window all in all in a positive sense. Takumi Minamino will be moved on eventually. Nico Williams didn't get a loan move to Fulham as part of this, which was a late negotiation. We did see that we got Nat Phillips on loan to Bournemouth, just a loan for 6 months as well. So we'll wait and see what happens there with Nat Phillips in the future. But ultimately, I don't want people to look at this transfer window and feel negative. I mean, look, it is just that my opinion. And I'm the first one to call out the club when I feel that they've shit the bed or they've done something wrong. But I think this was just one of those things. It is weird that a multi-billion-pound club could leave something go so late again. But we see this happening in football all the time. You have 31 days in the transfer market in January. But how many times do we see this coming down to the last minute, scurrying around, trying to get medicals done? And on this occasion, it just hasn't worked out for now. But for now is the part that I really wanted to say over and over again, because from the journalists that are briefing, from Fabrizio, from everybody else, it seems that the will is there for Fabio Carvalho to become a Liverpool player. So for those that aren't aware, by the way, of the difference between him signing for Liverpool in the summer and him signing for a club like Borussia Dortmund in the summer, a club that have shown an interest in Carvalho, is that they would only be due Fulham about 200 grand or a very minimal compensation fee if he moved to a club outside of England. So if he moved to Liverpool or Spurs or United or whomever, then Fulham would be due compensation for the players' training, for the players' footballing education. And that, if you can agree between the two clubs, will often be determined by a tribunal. We had one with Burnley for Danny Ings, ended up being a record tribunal fee. We had one for Harvey Elliott with Fulham, ended up being a record tribunal fee for a 16-year-old, 4.5 million quid. So if Fulham are happy with the deal and the amount, and they know that if a European club came in, they get a lot less, I'm hoping, and the club are certainly hoping, that this gets to a point where it's all agreed in the coming days and it will happen in the summer. So that's where we are right now. Don't let it ruin what's been a very positive transfer window for us. And again, we've a lot to look forward to with Luis Diaz coming in, with a very hectic and fruitful, hopefully, end of the Premier League campaign and the European campaign. And I think we'll see Fabio Carvalho in a Liverpool shirt in the summertime, when we would have seen him in a Liverpool shirt anyway. But look, I know it's very well and good me saying relax, don't be stressed about it, but genuinely I think it's been a good window. Certainly a far more productive one than I expected when it started. So look, I'm going to go off now. It's been a long day. Again, I hope you've enjoyed the content that we've put out on the channel. Appreciate all your feedback, and look, I know it hasn't worked out today, but we will have better days ahead and more positive times to celebrate. So look, drop a like on the video, hit that subscribe button, and yeah, we'll talk to you on the channel again soon. Take care.